Today, we are meeting Mr. Ankit Khandelwal, Managing Director at leading fasteners and machine tool maker, Usha Fasteners, bringing premier services for global factory production lines. Headquartered at Gurugram, Usha Fastener has a centralized distribution system, marketing offices in Pune and Chennai, and manufacturing facilities in Punjab. Uneecops built a live enterprise for Usha Fasteners to strengthen their digital core, drive growth, and optimize operations. Let's meet Mr. Ankit Khandelwal. Hi everyone. Today I am with Mr. Ankit Khandelwal, Managing Director, Usha Fasteners. Thank you for giving us your time, Ankit.
Pleasure.
Please tell us a little about Usha Fasteners and your journey so far.
Sure. Usha is a family-owned company, and we've been around in business as a family business about 80 odd years. I think we're in our 85th year, and I joined the reins of the company in 2003 post my studies from the US, and we are traditionally a distribution and trading company and now into manufacturing of industrial fasteners. For a layman, it is nuts and bolts, and tools for the automotive industry. We distribute tools for some German brands in India for the automotive car industry. So, it's been an age-old business. It's evolved from being set up in the reins of Old Delhi back in the day until we moved to our current location in Gurgaon, and our manufacturing unit is located in Ludhiana.
Okay.
So, and this was the manufacturing has been quite a recent addition, and it is really. That's when we realized, with the addition of new products and a new facility, that we needed to scale up, and we needed a world-class ERP to scale up as well. So that's been our journey so far.
That's great. So it's very interesting to know about a business which is family-owned and which has seen multiple generations now. And talking about the businesses 80 years ago, a lot has changed. The technology is now becoming an integral part of business. So at some point you would have felt that this is the right time for going with ERP solution, and there must be some kind of challenges that you were facing in operations, some kind of limitations which made you think that okay, let's look at proper ERP. So if you could just elaborate a bit about those things.
Absolutely. Evolution is the name of the game, I would say, and that's what entrepreneurs do. So I'm into the fourth generation now. And obviously, there were when I joined in, there were standardized challenges, which obviously there was a journey that I went through as well. And those just remained. They could not be addressed because of lack of systems. Like there were manual systems, but there were no electronic systems back in the day. I would say even as late or as early as 2003, even then we had computers. You were using them to invoice or bookkeeping and everything, but we were really not in that stage where we were managing things through a IT system. Right. And I would say that it's most best practices are taught by your customers. So my earliest brush with hearing about ERP, in fact it was SAP, was in the middle of the 90s. I wasn't even part of the business. But I heard my father talk about the fact that one of our leading customers, who was a European company, was going through a SAP implementation, and little did he also know about it. But obviously, as vendors, we were informed that there was going to be big changes. Right. So that, and cut the story in front to say about 2003-04 when I joined in. Even then we were not on something like that, a platform like that, and by then a few of our customers had moved into it, and you could see that we were managing the business more on spreadsheets, obviously. Right. A lot of cumbersome stuff, really involved in ops, so you were a part, you were managing almost everything, so you felt like a magic wand. You walk into the office and everyone sprung into action. It was like, now it's time to do work. You were looking at ops, you were looking at marketing, you were looking at finance, you were just juggling between so many things. And really what you left to do at the end of the day, the last thing that you did was actually market and sales.
Right.
Which was, an area which Okay, it had sustenance. It had been around for so long. We have a great goodwill. Probably one of the earliest companies in India to be into this distribution business. So had a pan-India presence, but it started contracting because obviously, with newer territories, there were newer players. The business had fragmented. Things had Delhi was not the only center. Delhi and Mumbai were not the only centers. So it had moved out, right? So business started to shrink as well, and along with that, the number of multinational companies setting up shop in India, their demands for, apart from products, their demands for suppliers to be service providers, to be able to do Kanban on inventories, manage inventories for them, really started coming up. So, in about 2008, which was about 5 years with me joining into business, we had our first brush with trying to get into, putting an ERP, and we did place an order upon Sage. And sadly, it was a failed project. After about 6 months, we folded up and we shut it, We were back to a legacy ERP system, which, we took from an Indian homegrown company. And we went on till about 2016 with them. So about 8 more years before we still continued our struggle. And the deal with Indian companies or not multinationals, I would say, doing is they were person-centric people.
Right.
And that's exactly what we were also, right? We were person-centric companies because all the information download, the critical information download was in the owner's head.
Right.
It was not shareable across the company. A particular item had to be searched, or the details of that item or references were all stuck in someone's head in the company, right? Technical details, vendor details, whatever. And then in 2016 we joined hands with a German company as a collaboration for the automotive business as well, and we felt that we are going to be moving into another area of about 5,000 or 7,000 new SKUs. We already had about 10,000 managed SKUs at that point in time. And that's when I said we are going to go ahead eyes wide shut, only with a global brand and only with SAP. And we actually never shopped. We never looked at Oracle. We never looked at Microsoft. We knew we had a fair share of German customers, a fair share of German vendors, and we wanted to go in with something where we were all talking the same language.
Right.
And that's where in 2017 we placed an order upon SAP, and the implementation took about I would say 6 to 8 months, but eventually it does take about a year. And it's a transformational journey. It's a tough one because you're out to change mindsets. We had old employees. By then, even myself, I would say, was a bit rustic. I'd been around for 15 years in the business, so it was, a change of mindset needed for everyone.
Yeah.
So that 1 year journey is a very, very tough one for all departments. I would not list out one single department that not struggle. And but when you go through that process, it's at the end of the day, it takes about a few years. I would not say that 1 year instantly, but it's a process. And when you move from person to process, and you don't tamper with the processes that these world-class ERPs lay out, then you can, eventually you hit success at the end of the day.
Very well said. Technology is important, but it is only as good as the people who are using it. And unless people adopt, it doesn't get success. So what happened after that? You've already deployed SAP in 2017. What kind of benefits you started seeing, and what was the journey after that?
See, it's firstly you understand that, and I understood very well initially only, it's an investment which is never going to give you a return in your hand. The day you understand that, is when you really start to understand the advantages that it's going to come up with. It's not going to, it just is a process improvement, right? So you're moving from, when you understand, you're moving from people to process. And we also had upheavals. Initially when we placed the order upon SAP, it was It was actually with a different partner than the one we are with. We are currently with Uneecops. And interesting, because when we placed it, it was not with Uneecops. And it was after about 14 or 15 months is when we moved. And so what's most important is choosing the right partner when you're implementing that technology as well, because the experience that the partner has to flow into your organization. So we did go through a partner change after about 15 months. So the implementation, I would say, did not go smoothly at that point in time. There were some problems with the way the system was set up, and we had to switch partners, and eventually we came across Uneecops. And really the transformational journey of the business came around then. Before that, there was times where I literally held my head as to why we had done this. So it was like a bullet through my head.
Right.
I knew the end game was going to be good, but the path to transformation was seeming a little more tougher than I had imagined. Cut to somewhere, from 2018 and 2019 beginning, was about 14-15 months of this implementation. We switched over to Uneecops, and I would say a world-class company. They are not just a SAP implementation partner, or they are a well-rounded company who understands business processes. That's what I understood of them. And they have solutions to most problems from different business scenarios. So, 2019 is when we switched over. And as we all know, 2020 COVID hit. We also had some major setbacks in our business as well. We lost a couple of clients in 2018-19. The automotive business was slow, and 2020, COVID hit. And obviously, while we were all home for the first 2 months, we were one of the first companies to open in this vicinity. And that's when the real advantage of having a system like SAP kicked in. We were working from home. I was largely working on remote for the first couple of months. My office had maybe, at one point in time, we were just operating for about 3 people in the office, and the rest, everyone was working on remote. And our warehouse teams were working, and even they were just receiving everything on remote because of this. So, we had a server housed in-house at that point in time, and everything was up and running. And what that did was, we realized that you could work from anywhere. Is where that work from home or work from anywhere came around. And that being said, a lot of people moved to that thing. So we were ready. SAP and Uneecops had us ready to do this even before something hits. You understood you were ready for a casualty like that. And it just worked wonderfully. And ever since then, there's been no looking back. And really, when I say that, is because a couple of years into the implementation, and if it's done well, you realize that you move from people to process, and then from process you move to process automation.
Naturally.
So we have, we have a CRM which is installed, and we are also moving to a CRM through Uneecops as well now at the moment. We are in talks with them to move from the other CRM to Uneecops as well. And really it gets, as a business owner, I am moved away completely from operations, and I am only focused on sales and marketing and business visibility and growing our business. So we have a very young team. Eventually, once you've set it up well, you don't really need people who are specialists on SAP. You can get anyone with good business, with good skills with business management and Microsoft Excel, which is a very basic skill today, and people can work really well on it. So it becomes a part of your business transformation story. It becomes a part of your business growth story if you use it well. And the only thing I can say is we used it as a standard system coming from SAP. We have adopted the best processes that the system gives instead of trying to alter it.
Right.
And so it's involved a lot of transformation at our end, because people have had to change their mindset. And today we are working on a global process, as I would say, and we get appreciation from that from our customers as well as our vendors, because the processes seem pretty streamlined and everyone has time really to look into only improvising them versus trying to figure out what is stored in someone else's head. There is no need to do that anymore.
Yeah, so basically now you are making in India, but making for the world in a truest sense.
Absolutely, it's helped us. We are in the process of trying to put together a global web shop.
Wow.
And can only happen because of the way the database is managed in SAP, right? So, we have visibility all over, and what I believe it's you take a good adopted system which world-class companies use, and you put it together here, and you're on your way to becoming a world-class company.
Right, and like you said, using something like SAP frees up your bandwidth, clears up your desk, clears up your mind to actually put it in the right thing, which is growing business and finding new avenues to actually take your product to newer markets. So that benefit is immense in itself.
Absolutely, like as business owners, like I said, it's a legacy business, and when it's managed by a family, everyone had different roles, and now it's lesser people hands on deck from the family business side. And so how do you make it professional, right? So it's that information flow is what's made it professional. It's not limited to one person anymore. It's organization wide, and that obviously changes the scope that you can expand operations to, from local to national to global. Like I said, our business had I started getting limited because of the operational capabilities, right? There were limited operational capabilities. If how much could you work on spreadsheets, and how much could you work on a legacy system and telephone calls and back and forth. Today, we've just moved away from all of it. It's pretty much as I look at it, everyone is working on standardized reports, customized reports,
right,
and a dashboard which gives you a minute-to-minute view of what is happening in the company.
Exactly.
So that dashboard changes everything. We are all used to today seeing pictures, graphs, bars, whatever, and it's right there. So makes all the difference.
Yeah. In fact, the real-time nature of it made us change our positioning. So now we call ourselves as building live enterprises, and live in its truest sense means whatever is happening live, you can see in your screen and take a decision, so that it doesn't go down or it keeps going up, that the data that you get, you can use it in the best form possible as a business manager. And regarding the family business point, I normally feel that what was Europe in early 1900s, right? It's made of a lot of family businesses there.
Correct.
Not publicly listed, but now you look at their growth in last 100 years, because they started adopting these systems early on to free up more and more bandwidth and to find newer markets. And Indian businesses are at that cusp now where the scale can be actually exponential.
Absolutely, and like I pointed out earlier, that one of the cues that we had was from the fact that when our suppliers were global, right? They were always using these best practices, and you could figure that the kind of mapping of data that they did made you realize that we also can do the same, right? And you said India is at a very exciting point.
Yeah.
We have more and more global companies coming in here, and this is a chance for Indian companies to become global.
Exactly.
And you need a world-class system. You can't be basing yourself on going on a legacy system or a homegrown system by a small company, because again you're getting it to be people-centric.
Right.
Here it is all about being global. It could your solution provider might change, but the system remains the same. That's what. So even if you're moving with times, you want to change that, and it becomes easier. And the other step with Uneecops, like I said, we moved from having a local server based out of office into going online. The company is completely on cloud. Gives you accessibility 24/7. You are getting a sound night's sleep because the data is secure and nobody needs to manually map it.
Right.
You don't need constantly someone checking on the IT infrastructure. We still have problems in India about power outages, about even something like COVID. We weren't online then, but the first thing that we did after that was that we need to take it up on the cloud.
Right.
Because accessing it 24/7, anyone who's traveling, I'm traveling a lot. I can work on an airplane, I can work on a train. Really does not make a difference. I'm approving purchase orders sitting in my car, sitting on an airplane somewhere, or sitting at an airport. Yeah. So it's that kind of scalability is the instant decision making. It's improves everything, and that eventually contributes to your bottom line. If you are saving time on decision making, swift decision making, there is no lag in approvals. It changes everything, right?
And the experience uplifts suddenly, right? Your vendors start getting payments on time because now they are not waiting for any kind of approvals and system delays. And same happens for you when you go to your customers. So the entire chain is now well tuned.
Absolutely. You feel like human interaction, while it's really good, but what we've all understood from technology, or whether it be WhatsApp, or everyone wants an instant answer.
Yeah.
So you issue a payment to a vendor. Why should we have someone wait up and send them the advice, right? The system mails it. Vendor gets a purchase order, it automatically gets mailed. The same thing with our customers. You map everything well. The interaction on the phone gets limited. Nobody has the time to do it anymore. It's better put on a report and shared with everybody versus with having two people having a conversation. And that's what it does. And SAP, it's a global solution. You go with a good solution provider is what I really feel is the USP of it, because you have to have a company who has proven case studies, and that's what Uneecops has done for us. And we've been a great partner. We had upheavals, like I said, in the past. They're all been addressed. And they're always looking out what next to do with you. They're happy to entertain any kind of query, and they always come back with a solution for it. That's what makes it really exciting, because business is always about evolution. So today we have some needs, tomorrow it's going to be another, and
Absolutely.
You have to customize it, put it together, and take it forward. So yeah.
And Ankit, this is the best part of my job. Because when I get to meet customers, they talk about how Uneecops has actually made a difference to their lives, and when I hear this story that we went beyond just one part and we were solving multiple problems, it gives deep gratification and satisfaction that we are actually touching people's life and we are helping people change their businesses to next level. So my last question is, would you recommend Uneecops to others?
Absolutely. They're like I said, a company with a sound understanding of standard business processes. They always ask you to work on the vanilla system that comes, and because the first thing to convince people is, I think, whether it was me back in the day, or I speak with some friends or colleagues or whatever, everyone thinks, oh, my business is so unique. My problems are unique.
Right.
Now, what they need to communicate, and they do it very well, is that it's the same case with everyone. So how you put it together, and then your support team comes in, the Uneecops support team comes in, and that's really, the implementation is one part. It's done it's the support team that handholds you very well, and that makes it a really worthy product to have. So Uneecops is definitely a very good partner, and I would highly recommend for anyone to go for an implementation with them.
Thank you, Ankit. That's all I wanted to talk to you today.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you. So this was Ankit spending his time with us, explaining about his business, how he is a vocal supporter of technology, and how he has seen benefits coming out of technology. Thank you for your time, Ankit.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.